Worst frozen foods seniors should never touch, and 4 you must eat daily. Within the silent depths of your freezer, there might be choices lurking right now that are insidiously accelerating your aging process, far more rapidly than you might consciously perceive. Indeed, I am poised to unveil a quartet of common frozen food culprits that are relentlessly undermining your health and vitality once you've crossed the threshold of 60, simultaneously presenting 4 transformative, life-extending alternatives that could quite literally bestow additional vibrant years upon your journey. And it's imperative to trust that the third item on the Never Touch compilation is likely a current resident in your freezer, a revelation that may profoundly astonish you. Welcome back, my esteemed friends, to Senior Nutrition, where I, Dr. James Hartwell, dedicate myself to equipping you not merely to navigate life beyond 60, but to truly flourish and excel. For those of you newly integrated into our supportive community, my professional trajectory spans over 3 decades in the medical field, a period during which I have closely observed countless patients grappling with nutritional guidance that, regrettably, was never originally formulated to accommodate the intricate and evolving physiology of their maturing bodies. An observation that fuels my fervent commitment to dissecting the pervasive and often perplexing nutritional discourse, distilling it into actionable, scientifically substantiated counsel that genuinely resonates with and benefits mature adults like ourselves. My extensive research into optimal nutrition for individuals over the age of 60, spanning more than a decade, has illuminated a crucial truth. The vast majority of prevailing dietary recommendations are inadvertently tailored for the younger metabolism of a 30-year-old, overlooking the fundamental reality that our bodies undergo significant transformations, our nutritional requirements evolve, and what proved effective during our 30s and 40s may, in our current stage of life, paradoxically be counterproductive. Therefore, over the ensuing 30 minutes, I unequivocally promise to deliver specific, invaluable insights. Initially, I will starkly expose the 4 frozen food items that are actively working against your body's nuanced needs post-60, elucidating precisely why your metabolism, having undergone natural changes, can no longer process them with the same efficiency it once did. Subsequently, I will generously impart knowledge regarding 4 frozen superfoods, meticulously selected for their absolute suitability to your evolving nutritional demands, alongside precise, uncomplicated strategies for seamless integration into your daily regimen, entirely devoid of the need for complex meal planning. Yet, it is vital to grasp that our discussion transcends the mere avoidance of detrimental dietary elements. I will meticulously demonstrate how the implementation of these straightforward dietary substitutions can profoundly contribute to the preservation of crucial muscle mass, robust support for cognitive function and brain health, a significant surge in your overall energy levels, a marked enhancement in the restorative quality of your sleep, and even foster a deeper sense of self-assurance and comfort within your own skin. Furthermore, our conversation will encompass practical considerations such as appropriate portion sizes, optimal timing for consumption, and an array of enticing meal ideas designed to delight your palate. If this sounds agreeable, then let us embark upon this enlightening journey without delay, and I assure you that by its conclusion, you will depart equipped with immediately actionable information ready for practical application today. Prior to delving into the specific lists of foods, it is paramount that we engage in a candid dialogue concerning the magnified importance of making judicious frozen food choices after the age of 60, a significance that surpasses any other life stage. Establishing this foundational understanding is absolutely crucial, for once the underlying why is grasped, the what you choose to consume becomes remarkably clearer and more intuitively understood. Your body, you see, is undergoing a myriad of profound changes, many of which are seldom openly discussed, and, frankly, a surprising number of these vital shifts are not even adequately addressed by many medical professionals during your routine checkups. Consider your metabolism, for instance. It has gradually decelerated by approximately 2 to 3% per decade since your 20s, a decrement implying that you are now expending fewer calories simply by existing. However, the truly critical insight here is this. Concurrently with this reduction in your caloric expenditure and overall energy needs, your actual nutrient requirements are paradoxically escalating. It is an intricate biological paradox, akin to attempting to accommodate an ever-increasing volume of groceries within a progressively shrinking shopping cart. Furthermore, as you age, the production of stomach acid naturally diminishes, and physiological alteration that significantly impedes your body's capacity to efficiently absorb certain indispensable nutrients, notably vitamin B12, iron, and calcium, all of which are vital for maintaining optimal health. Your senses of taste and smell, an integral part of the enjoyment and appreciation of food, also undergo a natural decline. This sensory attenuation can lead to two distinct yet equally problematic eating behaviors. Either an inclination towards overeating in a relentless pursuit of the satisfaction that once came easily, or conversely, a tendency towards undereating simply because food no longer possesses the same allure or appeal. Moreover, your muscle mass, a cornerstone of physical strength and metabolic health, has been steadily eroding at an estimated rate of 3 to 8% per decade since you turned 30, a rate that alarmingly accelerates after you reach 60. This progressive loss of muscle tissue, often referred to as sarcopenia, is far from a mere aesthetic concern. It is directly and inextricably linked to the efficiency of your metabolism, the structural integrity and density of your bones, your overall balance and stability, a critical factor in fall prevention, and ultimately your enduring independence and quality of life as you navigate the later stages of aging. However, amidst these undeniable physiological shifts, there is a genuinely encouraging piece of information, a beacon of good news that I earnestly wish for you to truly internalize. Frozen foods, when selected with discerning wisdom, possess the remarkable potential to become your strategic secret weapon in this evolving phase of life. When chosen with precision, these frozen options are often demonstrably more nutritious than their fresh counterparts that have languished in your refrigerator for a week or more, steadily hemorrhaging precious vitamins and minerals with each passing day. Beyond their nutritional retention, they offer unparalleled convenience, a significant advantage on days when the prospect of elaborate cooking feels utterly overwhelming. Furthermore, they are potent allies in dramatically curtailing food waste, a common problem with perishable fresh ingredients, and they empower you to maintain a consistent, high-quality nutritional intake even when life's demands become particularly strenuous or when your personal energy levels simply do not permit intricate meal preparation. The fundamental discernment, therefore, lies in meticulously knowing which frozen foods to embrace and which to unequivocally shun, as if they were a plague. For lamentably, the frozen food industry, in its broader commercial scope, has largely failed to adequately cater to the specific evolving nutritional needs of mature adults. A predominant number of commercially available frozen meals are formulated with younger, more robust metabolisms in mind, consequently disregarding the unique and heightened requirements of bodies over 60. These products are frequently characterized by alarmingly high sodium concentrations, critically insufficient protein levels, a profusion of inflammatory ingredients, and an abundance of empty calories that actively counteract every beneficial physiological process your body is striving to sustain. Let us commence with the most significant offender, a revelation that, I acknowledge, might sting a little: frozen pizza. I fully comprehend its pervasive allure. It epitomizes convenience, offers undeniable gustatory appeal, and evokes a profound sense of comfort food, making it seem like the quintessential solution when exhaustion sets in or the desire to cook dissipates. Nevertheless, it is my imperative to frankly disclose the profound physiological impact that regular consumption of frozen pizza inflicts upon your body after the age of 60, elucidating precisely why it systematically undermines every health objective you aspire to achieve. Firstly, we must address its sodium content, which is nothing short of astronomical. Most commercially available frozen pizzas typically harbor between 700 and a staggering 1,200 milligrams of sodium per designated serving. And let us be utterly entirely candid and pragmatic. Who among us, in reality, rigorously adheres to merely a single serving? I have yet to encounter an individual who conscientiously partitions a pizza into 4 segments and reserves 3 for subsequent consumption. Post-60, your kidneys, having naturally aged, become less efficient and less adept at processing and eliminating excess sodium from your system. This diminished renal function directly translates into an elevated risk of hypertension, high blood pressure, a significantly increased propensity for cerebrovascular events such as strokes, uncomfortable and noticeable water retention that leaves you feeling bloated and uncomfortable, and a substantial, unwarranted strain on your cardiovascular system, which is already diligently working harder than it did in your younger years. Secondly, the ubiquitous refined carbohydrates intricately woven into the crust of frozen pizza provoke profound and rapid blood sugar spikes, a glycemic assault that manifests distinctly differently in your aging body compared to your youth. Your body's insulin sensitivity, a critical metabolic metric, naturally wanes with advancing age. Consequently, these abrupt sugar surges impact you more severely and persist for longer durations. This physiological cascade directly precipitates those debilitating afternoon energy crashes, leaving you feeling cognitively foggy and profoundly fatigued, while simultaneously fueling systemic inflammation throughout your body and, over protracted periods, dramatically escalating your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Thirdly, the processed meats routinely adorning frozen pizzas, items such as pepperoni, sausage, and ham, are laden with nitrates, various synthetic preservatives, and generally low-quality, industrially sourced ingredients. These specific compounds have been consistently implicated in an increased risk of certain cancers. And here is the truly concerning element. Your body's inherent capacity to detoxify and neutralize these deleterious chemicals diminishes with age, signifying that they remain resident in your system for extended periods, thereby inflicting greater cumulative damage. However, the most insidious aspect, one that often eludes general awareness, is this. Frozen pizza furnishes an almost negligible amount of protein relative to its colossal caloric load. After 60, your body actually demands a greater intake of protein than ever before, an essential macronutrient for sustaining precious muscle mass and bolstering your critical immune system. Yet, frozen pizza provides an abundance of empty calories that, rather than supporting, actively counteract muscle preservation. You might readily consume 800 calories from a pizza while acquiring a meager 15 to 20 grams of protein, a stark contrast to the recommended minimum of 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal for optimal senior health. Moreover, the oils predominantly employed in the manufacturing of frozen pizza are frequently inflammatory omega-6 oils, known contributors to exacerbated joint pain and systemic inflammation. If you have recently found yourself questioning the increased ache in your knees or hips, your habitual consumption of frozen pizza may indeed be a contributing factor to that pervasive discomfort. Our second entry on the list of frozen food adversaries is frozen breakfast pastries. Think of the ubiquitous Pop-Tarts, the enticing toaster strudels, the convenience of frozen waffles generously drenched in artificial syrup, or the breakfast burritos overflowing with processed constituents. These items might initially appear as expeditious breakfast solutions, particularly amidst a morning rush or when the inclination to cook is entirely absent. However, from a nutritional standpoint, they represent unmitigated disasters for anyone beyond the age of 60, and I will unequivocally articulate why. These products are, in essence, highly concentrated sugar bombs, meticulously encased in refined flour, and deceptively marketed as legitimate breakfast fare. A typical serving of such items frequently contains between 15 and 25 grams of sugar, an amount that dangerously approaches your entire daily recommended limit before you've even approached the lunch hour. Crucially, when you are over 60, your body's innate capacity to efficiently regulate blood sugar undergoes significant compromise, rendering these morning sugar surges particularly hazardous and acutely damaging to your delicate metabolic balance. The presence of trans fats in numerous frozen pastries constitutes another paramount concern that demands our direct and forthright attention. While many food manufacturers have indeed made commendable efforts to reduce trans fats in recent years, these harmful fats are often replaced with other equally inflammatory oils, such as palm oil or partially hydrogenated soybean oil, both of which can substantially elevate your risk of developing cardiovascular disease, contribute significantly to cognitive decline and the insidious onset of dementia, and markedly exacerbate the painful symptoms of arthritis. Here is a profound insight that often eludes public awareness, and it proved to be an absolute paradigm shift for me when I first assimilated it. Consuming a breakfast high in sugar and refined carbohydrates after the age of 60 can paradoxically render you hungrier throughout the remainder of the entire day. This detrimental phenomenon occurs because the resulting blood sugar roller coaster profoundly disrupts the intricate balance of your crucial hunger-regulating hormones, specifically leptin, which signals satiety, and ghrelin, which stimulates appetite. This hormonal dysregulation consequently leads to intensified cravings, an increased propensity for overeating, and an undesirable accumulation of weight, particularly around your midsection. Furthermore, the accumulation of belly fat after 60 is not merely a superficial cosmetic issue. It poses a distinct and heightened danger because this visceral fat intricately encases your vital internal organs and actively amplifies systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. Moreover, these particular breakfast foods contribute absolutely zero meaningful nutritional value precisely at a life stage when your body requires essential nutrients more acutely than ever before. Post-60, while your overall caloric requirements may indeed diminish, your physiological need for critical nutrients such as protein, calcium, vitamin D, and various B vitamins actually increases. Consequently, squandering those precious limited calories on empty carbohydrates and egregious amounts of sugar is, in essence, a direct pathway to malnutrition, even if your caloric intake remains ostensibly sufficient. The artificial flavors, synthetic colors, and chemical preservatives commonly found in these products can also deleteriously disrupt your sleep patterns. A significant proportion of individuals over 60 already contend with various sleep disturbances, and the ingestion of these chemical-laden foods, especially during the morning hours, can profoundly perturb your natural circadian rhythms, making it even more arduous to achieve the deep, restorative sleep that your body desperately requires for repair and regeneration. The third most detrimental food item on our comprehensive list consists of frozen fried foods. Envision the familiar culprits: frozen chicken nuggets, the classic fish sticks, prepackaged French fries, crispy onion rings, or gooey mozzarella sticks. These are precisely the types of frozen foods that might currently be nestled within the confines of your freezer, and they pose a particularly acute threat to your health after the age of 60 for reasons that extend far beyond their general unhealthiness. When foods are subjected to the process of frying and subsequently frozen, you are inadvertently creating what I term a perfect storm of inflammation. The oils utilized in large-scale commercial frying operations are frequently already rancid by the time they ultimately reach your freezer, having been repeatedly heated to dangerously high temperatures, often undergoing multiple cycles of thermal stress. When you subsequently reheat these same foods in your home oven or microwave, you are compounding the problem, generating an even greater proliferation of highly inflammatory compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs, at a molecular level, literally accelerate the intrinsic aging processes within your your body, contributing to cellular damage and tissue stiffening. Critically, your body's natural endogenous anti-inflammatory defenses undergo a significant weakening with advancing age, which implies that these inflammatory foods inflict a more substantial degree of damage within your system than they would in a younger, more resilient individual. This chronic, low-grade inflammation is not merely a contributing factor to localized joint pain and stiffness, it also profoundly impairs your cognitive function, manifesting as that frustrating brain fog, observable memory issues, and a heightened susceptibility to a range of chronic diseases, including severe cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. The breading that typically enrobes frozen fried foods is almost invariably constructed from highly refined flour, often commingled with substantial quantities of added sugars, artificial flavors, and various chemical preservatives. This deleterious combination not only provokes precipitous blood sugar spikes, but simultaneously furnishes absolutely no beneficial nutrients whatsoever. For an individual over 60, this dietary choice is akin to dousing the smoldering embers of metabolic decline with gasoline, rendering it even more formidable for your body to sustain stable energy levels and maintain a healthy body weight. However, perhaps the most critical consideration for individuals in our age demographic is that these foods are extraordinarily calorie-dense, yet provide very poor satiety. One can effortlessly consume between 500 and 800 calories of frozen fried foods without ever feeling genuinely satisfied or adequately nourished, an imbalance that inevitably leads to overeating and undesirable weight gain. Moreover, when you are over 60, the challenge of shedding excess weight becomes significantly more arduous due to the complex interplay of hormonal shifts and a progressive decrease in lean muscle mass. The sodium content embedded within these foods is also alarmingly high, frequently containing between 400 and 800 milligrams per serving, an amount that can quickly propel you beyond your daily recommended sodium limit and substantially contribute to issues of high blood pressure and other serious cardiovascular complications. The fourth category of concern is frozen desserts and ice cream. Now, to be clear, I am not addressing the infrequent indulgence, the celebratory slice of cake on a birthday, or the occasional treat enjoyed sparingly. My concern centers on the habitual, regular consumption of commercially produced frozen desserts, a pattern into which many individuals over 60 inadvertently fall. This reliance is often attributable to their inherent convenience, their comforting familiarity, and, frankly, the perception that consuming something sweet offers one of the few remaining accessible pleasures when various physical ailments or life's challenges make other activities difficult or painful. Commercial frozen desserts are ubiquitously laden with an array of added sugars, artificial flavors, various stabilizers, and emulsifiers, all of which can profoundly disrupt the delicate equilibrium of your gut microbiome. After the age of 60, your entire digestive system generally becomes more sensitive and less inherently resilient, and these artificial, non-nutritive ingredients can trigger an unpleasant cascade of symptoms, including bloating, excessive gas, irregular bowel movements, and can even contribute significantly to observable mood fluctuations and debilitating brain fog. The sheer sugar content prevalent in frozen desserts is particularly problematic for mature adults. A single, ostensibly modest serving of a premium ice cream can easily contain anywhere from 20 to a staggering 30 grams of sugar. However, here lies the truly concerning reality. That figure represents merely the packaged serving size. Most of us, being human, invariably consume a much larger quantity than that in a single sitting. This exorbitant amount of sugar ignites a massive inflammatory response throughout your entire body, directly contributes to the development of insulin resistance, and has been unequivocally linked to accelerated cognitive decline and a substantially increased risk of neurodegenerative conditions like dementia. Furthermore, many commercially available frozen desserts incorporate high quantities of saturated fats, often sourced from low-quality, industrially processed ingredients such as palm oil and processed dairy. While certain types and amounts of saturated fat are perfectly acceptable and even beneficial within a balanced diet, the specific varieties employed in these commercial frozen desserts can significantly contribute to arterial stiffness, undesirable increases in cholesterol levels, and a heightened risk of various cardiovascular problems. Herein lies the truly pervasive issue that I observe affecting an alarming number of individuals in our age group. Frozen desserts trigger intense, often relentless, cravings for even more sweet foods. After 60, your taste buds naturally become less sensitive, a physiological change, meaning that you require progressively larger and larger amounts of sugar to derive the same degree of satisfaction that you once obtained from smaller, more moderate portions. This creates a pernicious, self-perpetuating cycle where your body increasingly demands sweeter and sweeter foods to feel sated, leading inevitably to chronic overconsumption of sugar and a constant, arduous battle against pervasive cravings. The artificial ingredients ubiquitous in many frozen desserts can also deleteriously interfere with the restorative quality of your sleep. Poor sleep quality after 60 is already a significant and widespread concern, and consuming these chemical-laden desserts, especially during the evening hours, can make it even more challenging to achieve the deep, truly restorative sleep that your body critically requires for cellular repair, regeneration, and overall vital health. Now, before you succumb to the notion that I am endeavoring to divest your freezer of all elements of joy and practical convenience, permit me to impart some genuinely exhilarating news, information that I earnestly desire for you to embrace with enthusiasm. There exists a quartet of frozen foods that are not merely permissible for individuals over 60. They are, in fact, veritable nutritional powerhouses, meticulously crafted by nature to empower you to experience enhanced well-being, project a more youthful visage, possess an abundance of vital energy, and indeed, potentially extend your longevity. These specific foods are uniquely advantageous, catering precisely to the distinct and heightened nutritional requirements of mature adults, and crucially, they offer a level of convenience entirely comparable to the very foods I have just admonished you to avoid. In point of fact, some of these recommendations might astound you with their inherent deliciousness and profound satiety. I have had numerous clients attest that once they purposefully integrated these beneficial foods into their regular dietary patterns, their former cravings for the unhealthy options entirely dissipated. The most gratifying aspect of these choices is that they harmoniously collaborate with your changing body rather than opposing its natural processes. They actively support your metabolic efficiency, diligently assist in the maintenance of precious muscle mass, significantly diminish systemic inflammation, and provide the precise, targeted nutrients that acquire heightened importance as we gracefully navigate the aging process. Moreover, these foods are remarkably versatile, exceptionally budget-friendly, and perfectly suited for efficient meal preparation. I am committed to not merely enumerating these foods, but rather to meticulously detailing exactly how to discern and select the most superior options available, how to prepare them to maximize both their nutritional potency and their inherent flavor, and ultimately how to seamlessly incorporate them into your daily routine in a manner that feels entirely natural, genuinely enjoyable, and definitively not like an onerous chore or a restrictive imposition. The foremost entry on my list is frozen wild-caught fish. This unequivocally stands as the #1 frozen food that every individual over 60 should consistently stock in their freezer, and I will now elaborate precisely why this singular dietary modification could prove to be the most profoundly impactful change you enact this entire year. Wild-caught varieties such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, anchovies, and other fatty fish are meticulously flash frozen at their absolute peak of freshness, often mere hours after being harvested from their pristine aquatic environments. This rapid freezing process renders them significantly more nutritionally superior to fresh fish that may have languished for days or even weeks, gradually degrading in quality and nutrient content before finally gracing the shelves of your local grocery store. The abundant omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, present in these fish are unequivocally crucial for maintaining robust brain health, safeguarding cardiovascular integrity, and effectively mitigating systemic inflammation. 3 critical physiological domains where individuals over 60 typically require the most profound support. Scientific studies consistently demonstrate that the regular, consistent consumption of omega-3s can significantly reduce your risk of cognitive decline by up to 30%, lower your susceptibility to heart disease by a substantial 25%, and markedly decrease inflammatory markers detectable in your bloodstream. However, what elevates frozen fish to an even more advantageous status for our particular lifestyle is its unparalleled convenience and virtually foolproof preparation. You can effortlessly transition a piece of fish from a frozen solid state to a perfectly cooked, restaurant-quality meal in a mere 15 to 20 minutes. There is no requirement for extensive prior planning, no anxiety about potential spoilage, no lingering stress regarding the freshness or edibility of the fish, and absolutely no compromise whatsoever on its formidable nutritional benefits. The protein inherent in fish is also uniquely ideal for the crucial task of maintaining and indeed even building lean muscle mass after 60. It is remarkably easily digestible, contains a complete spectrum of all the essential amino acids your body requires for optimal muscle protein synthesis, and, unlike some other protein sources, does not impose undue strain on your kidneys.